Guys, welcome to the second episode of Sunday Coffee Talk with SoFlo Cards and Collectibles. I'm RJ, and with me, as always, is
I'm Danny.
My friend here, Danny. And guys, today we are going to be talking the new Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings set release coming out, which is going to be next week is the release, I believe. And joined with us is our good friend, Aurelian, on Discord, or you may know him as Jake. Say what's up, Jake.
How's it going? It's HH Aurelian, and the HH stands for hot hands.
Nice.
Jake is Aurelian's our residential Magic the Gathering expert. He knows the game front, back, sideways, forward, aft, port, starboard, and
you give me too much credit. I'm pretty good at the game. You know, when it comes to layers and like all that shit, I have some room to improve, but I know enough to help with today's call.
A graduate of Tolarian Community College, or no, I'm just kidding. Did his tenure.
He's not that good. He only destroys everyone at Command Fest.
Guys, before we begin, though, you know the drill. Down below, there's a thumbs up button. If you hit it, that's called giving us a like. And wow, would we really appreciate a like? And not even below that, if you look even a little further down, there's a button that says subscribe. And guess what? If you click that button, we're going to come up in your subscriptions, in your feed. We post videos. We do lives every Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Sunday Coffee Talk.
Yeah, but not only that, not only does it help you, but it helps them, right? Like, by subscribing, by going in and saying, hey, you're wrong about this, or hey, you're right about this, going in, joining the comments, you're going to do these guys a solid, help them out, boost up the algorithm, get them exposed to more people, and it's really easy. So just fucking do it.
Check this out, guys. When you what Aurelian said,
yes.
Check this. When you click that subscribe button, there's gonna be a bell that pops, and when you click that bell, you'll be notified every time we go live, every time we post a video.
Yeah, guys. I don't know if you heard, but they added a bell to YouTube. It's this new thing. Yeah. Nobody knows about it yet.
And guys, in the description down below, there's a link there for our link tree. If you click it, you'll see our eBay store, our ComC store. You'll see a link to our Instagram. You'll see a link to our YouTube, and you'll also see a link for the latest. Not the latest now, I think, but one of the newer episodes of the CP Squared podcast. It was a fun time. Check it out. Definitely, if you're an adult, make sure kids are mature enough. It's not for it's not for little kids, is what I'm getting across. It's an adult conversation that we had.
Lastly, you can also find the link to Danny's OnlyFans. Is it there? Am I bullshitting you? There's only one way to find out. Click that link.
That's right. You gotta check the description if you want the goods.
And guys, if you follow us on our Instagram, we are doing a 2,000 follower giveaway.
That's right.
All you have to do is follow. You don't have to share a post. You don't have to comment your friends. You don't even have to like a post. Just follow us. When we hit 2,000, we're giving away a blaster box of 2022 Allen and Ginter, free of charge. Bam, to you. Winners will be DM'd, and we will make a post when responded to. Guys, we are almost at 1,400. When we started this giveaway, I think we were at like 1,100 or something.
Yeah.
So we are growing.
We're creeping up there.
Please be sure to give us a follow. Excellent. So without further ado, let's pop up the Mythic spoiler link. Let's share that, Danny, so we can show everyone the goods.
They can see it. You got to pull it up for yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You're sharing
they
on
can.
stream.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, they
okay,
can
okay.
see it. But
Okay.
yeah, so we got it here, guys. If you haven't heard of this website, it's pretty sweet. MythicSpoiler.com. They got pictures of all the cards pre-release, all the interesting stuff that's coming up in the Magic the Gathering set for Lord of the Rings, and a lot of these cards look really awesome.
All right. So this is the. It is not the first time Magic has done crossovers with other franchises, but I believe this is the second time they've made an entire set, because they did Dungeons and they did Baldur's Gate.
So,
right.
Yes and no. They've done 2 main release sets that are Wizards of the Coast IP that are officially part, I guess, of the Magic canon. Right, and that's Adventures of Forgotten Realms and Battle for Baldur's Gate. But then they've also done a couple of special things from what they call Universes Beyond, and that goes back, I believe, to Ikoria with the Godzilla cards. They did the Dracula cards in
right, yeah,
the Innistrad block.
Right.
They had, in terms
but
of
those weren't sets. Those were for sports card people. You would call those like special print SPs.
Oh yeah,
correct. Yeah, they're pretty much like alternate arts, you could say, of other cards typically.
Right.
Well, let's not forget about Warhammer had a full set, right?
Yep, Warhammer had a full set, which is kind of it. They had a full Commander release.
Oh, okay. It was just
4 distinct Commander decks, and they're going to follow suit with that with Doctor Who with a little caveat.
That's cool.
So this is the second set then, or that's full with? I mean, I guess it's the third, but it's the second franchise, rather. I should say.
It depends how you're counting, because they also during the Brothers' War did the Transformers release. So those were distinct cards that were totally their own thing, but could only be pulled in Brothers' War packs.
I see. Cool.
Okay, so whenever Magic comes out with a new set, they introduce sometimes several new mechanics within the game. For example, Ward, or things like that, where cards do things that have that add that draw from the flavor of the universe that they're from. So in this one of the key major mechanics that's being introduced is the One Ring, and this ring can tempt you. And so certain cards will say that when this happens, the ring tempts you. Now, Jake, can you explain to us the mechanic of the One Ring and the ring tempting? And Danny, if you could pull that up for us, that would be great.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I've got a plane going overhead, so just give me one moment.
I'm trying to find the
nope, that's just the inscription.
No, you should be. It's like a
Can I search it on the page, or do I have to Google it?
I found it.
Okay.
All right, guys. Do I have a lot of background noise, or is my mic filtering it out?
Yeah, you're being pretty well filtered.
All right.
Yeah, you're good.
One moment. I'm gonna share it to the chat.
Cool.
So, whenever the ring tempts you, basically the first time you get an emblem named the ring, if you don't already have one, then that emblem gains its next ability. So it's kind of like a permanent saga / emblem, meaning that you can advance through chapters and gain added effects.
Cool.
So basically, once you have the emblem, your emblem gains whatever its next ability is. So if you don't have it, it gains its first one. If it's at the first, it gains second, so on and so forth. And you get to choose a creature you control to become or remain your ring bearer. So basically, after the first time you get the emblem, every time after that it steps up, and you, each time that the ring tempts you, you choose a creature. Regardless of whether or not you have a ring bearer, you can say, "Oh, I'm choosing this to remain my ring bearer," or "I'm choosing a new creature." And there are perks for your ring bearer, and that's what the steps of the ring or the levels of the ring correspond to. So the first time the ring tempts you, and you choose your ring bearer is now legendary and can't be blocked by creatures with greater power.
Right.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So if you have a creature with a big butt but low power, it's not a bad deal.
Yeah, awesome.
1/2s become like really interesting, right? Or 1/2s even. Anything that's low to the ground and has greater toughness is a prime candidate for your ring bearer, and we'll see that with some of the iterations of cards.
And I love that, because that flavor is so Frodo, it's so Bilbo, it's so Gollum, like tough, small, not powerful, but tough.
Yes. I feel like toughness in a lot of the sense for like Frodo might actually not necessarily be his like ability to withstand damage, but so much as his luck to and ability to avoid damage.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the books and the movies, he has how do they say it? He has constitution.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
you know, he's not strong, but he gets poisoned by a giant spider and he doesn't die.
Right.
Yeah, and the Nazgul blade too.
Right,
exactly. Yeah, that and dexterity, all that good stuff. So it seems like the ring functions a lot, really similar to the dungeons from the D&D set, right? Where it says explore the dungeon and you would go down to the next thing.
Kind of, I would say in this particular instance, no, because the ring kind of serves as a global enchantment for your ring bearer.
Okay.
Whereas the dungeon is kind of like you advance there and you just get a one-time effect.
I see.
Right?
I see.
Kind of like get this instant or sorcery type spell or like minor bonus. You know, you create a treasure token or you get some goblin tokens or draw a card and lose a life or something like that. You know.
Okay. Is this considered effectively an enchantment or an artifact?
The ring is literally, it says it in the actual rules text.
Mm-hmm.
It is an emblem, which means there's no way that you can interact with it.
That's cool.
So it does kind of reminisce, especially I think the implications in eternal formats like Legacy. It's basically just some static added bonus that you get that your opponent can't interact with. We have a whole bunch of Legacy bans now, I believe, specifically to avoid the venture mechanic because it got so ubiquitous in the format.
That's cool, man. That's cool because I saw some planeswalkers would give you an emblem at some point and stuff like that. So that's really neat how that works.
Oh yeah.
So after it tempts you the first time, now you have that ability on that ring bearer creature, right?
That's correct. And you get an added ability each subsequent time the ring tempts you. So again, first one is your ring bearer is legendary and can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. The second one is whenever your ring bearer attacks, you draw a card and then discard a card.
That's so cool.
That's nasty.
The third one is whenever your ring bearer becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller sacrifices it at the end of combat. Now remember, like, your first ability is your ring bearer is legendary and can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. Right?
Yeah.
So if you've got a 1/3, that means they need 1/1s to block it. They've got to throw at least 3 1x creatures in front of your 1/3 ring bearer, and all of them, even if they survive combat, get sacrificed.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane, man.
Yeah. That's nasty.
So you don't really want to block a ring bearer, which leads perfectly into the next ability. Whenever your ring bearer deals combat damage to a player, each opponent loses 3.
Oh my god.
So basically, you kind of just have this natural Voltron up of your preferred creature, and it just becomes more and more punishing for a player to block it. And if you do get rid of it with a removal spell, the next time they get out, the ring tempts them, they can choose another creature should they have a board presence, and all of those abilities start applying again. It doesn't reset.
Wow. So, say the ring bearer dies, what happens then?
Then you no longer have a ring bearer until the ring tempts you again. And if you have a creature, you can choose that creature as your ring bearer,
Cool.
or any one of your multiple creatures.
So the ring temptation triggers almost like an equip. Kind of,
yeah.
Well, it's I wouldn't say it triggers like an equip, because you have to cast a spell.
It's
and
like
the
an
spell
aura.
ring tempts you. You know what I mean? So it's on resolution of a spell or ability.
Oh man.
So it would depend on the speed of that spell or ability.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it's like an equipment. It's more like an aura enchantment or something.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, there are instances where the ring like literally instant spells that have the text "the ring tempts you" on it. There are creatures that will have the ring tempt you either as an enter the battlefield ability or some sort of triggered ability. The ring can tempt you in any number of ways.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And you don't be confused, folks, because there are artifacts with the different rings, but there's the mechanic of the ring tempting you. So you can have the one ring on the battlefield, but that is not the ring tempting you.
Right. Okay. So
Right.
I see. That's okay. That makes a lot of sense. So the ring is like a thing that's already there and gets triggered by when a card says you're tempted.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Once you become tempted once, it's kind of like the day-night cycle.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. The concept of day and night does not exist in this game state until a card states that it is a thing.
Right.
At which point, now you just have to track day and night. The ring doesn't exist as a concept until a card tempts a player. And there can be each player with their own the ring.
Right. Oh, that's cool, man. Wow.
Yeah.
I love it when
cool.
they really accurately depict the how things work in that universe, like with the ring and stuff through effects in the game, and it just really blends and portrays that really well.
Yeah.
So one of the other things that they've done, and I think this is correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this is the first time they've done it, but they have full art, alternate full art cards that all link together to make one big picture.
Yeah, they have panorama pieces where I think the greatest one or the largest one is like, I can't remember. I think it was like 24. I think it's like 3 rows of 8 or 18.
It's 18.
Whoa.
Yeah, 3 rows of 6.
So Dan, do you see that on Mythic Spoiler?
Let me check.
It's about halfway down.
Okay.
But in addition to that, they have several 3-piece ones. There's one 4-piece one. Like,
there's a couple of the 3 pieces I'm looking at for the Gandalf doing his fireworks, and then the Hobbits having the birthday party.
Yeah.
So if you scroll up,
it's above that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll see the big one. It's the battle for Middle Earth.
I didn't see that on the way down. Is it? No, I don't see that.
It's below the lands, dude.
Oh, it's below the lands. Okay.
Below the lands, above where the birthday party's happening. It's huge. You can't miss it.
It's below the lands. Okay, I'm looking. And then there's the birthday party. I don't see anything between there and there. Maybe it's below it.
I don't know what you're looking at. anyways,
Yeah.
that's cool. They did that. They do something similar in Pokemon sometimes with
The
what is
trainer
that
galleries.
called?
Oh, you know what? They have them out of order. I see the war one. They just they're just not in the right order, so they look like different cards. It's the Rising of the Day, Aomer, Marshal of Rohan, AON, Fearless Knight.
I think that might be a browser size issue or something. That might be some CSS that's skewing how the cards are displayed on your window.
Gotcha.
Yeah. On mine, it's coming through. I put it in the chat.
The YouTube chat or the Discord chat?
Discord.
Oh well, you got to put it in the call chat because like I can't leave the call to go to the chat.
You can't?
It'll close the cameras. I see these full arts, man. They look great. Minas Tirith, Barad-dûr, Mines of Moria.
Oh yeah,
wow.
They're all beautiful. Another
Really
interesting
well done.
mechanic in the set, though. I don't know if we're ready to talk about other things. Talk about our next topic, or
Well, what were you saying, dude? Sorry.
oh
wow, look at that.
some of the other really cool cards in the set. If we want to talk, I don't know where you want to start in the actual set itself and Commander, at the showcase cards, because they're, in addition to the alternate arts, there are particular like ring showcases, and you can't really tell on this, but there's a special like surge foil treatment for some of the rares that's supposed to look absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and also, let's get into that because that'll lead us to the serialized rings.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you're talking about the circular window ones, right?
Yeah. They're called ring showcases. So if you zoom in on one specifically, you can see that it's basically like a ring with some elvish text around it. It's really a beautiful showcase, and depending on the color of the card itself, it'll be gold or the color of the creature. So, for example, we have Pippin, Guard of the Citadel, who's an Azorius card, blue-white, and you can see on the left half, it's got the white part of his color identity, and then on the right half, it's got the blue part of his color identity. It's a really nice and interesting way to showcase artwork and bring attention to the card while maintaining the theme and color and all that.
Yeah, and
Showcases.
I really like that they kept up with the showcase art and made it so unique. Every set that they've done showcase, those have been my favorites. Like the full art's cool and stuff, but to me, like, man, the showcase rares are just awesome. Like to me, Innistrad, that was the newest, the Midnight Hunt. That was like one of the coolest showcases. Every time I'm just blown away by them. I'm really excited to see these cards in person and like look at them and see the actual foiling of them, the hollow on it and all that, because they just look the art just looks so good.
Yeah. Shout out to all the artists involved in the set, the whole design team, everything from the ground up. All the cards look absolutely beautiful. I know there's a conversation. People are saying that the power level might be a little low in this set, and I just wholeheartedly disagree. I think there is a healthy amount of power throughout. Predominantly, I would say, for the Commander format, not as much for the Modern format, unless they're really trying to facilitate specific strategies. Like, I don't know, there's probably some hole in the meta that this is filling that people aren't keying off of yet.
Right.
But
well, they're really going in on the Commander thing too. That really seems to be Wizards' focus. Is let's put like the main effort into making good Commander stuff, and then kind of, Standard will make it work just well enough,
Yeah, I mean they're doing. I don't know if you guys are up to date with the news, and this might be a topic for a different podcast, but they just extended the time or the window for rotation from 2 years to 3 years.
Whoa, really?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and with it came some changes to their ban policy. They said they're going to be a little more liberal with banning cards and unbanning cards to try and keep the metagame healthy and engaging for all players. So they're trying to bring Standard back. I think financially they're realizing that they're flooding the Standard market with all these variant prints and stuff like that, and there's no major immediate desire to play with the cards outside of on Arena. So they're trying to, I think, recover in that regard in a post-pandemic world where people grew tired of the Standard or the Standard paradigm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you watch Alpha Investments, but he was talking about he showed a chart of just how many more sets have been released since 2020 compared to like the previous 3 years, and it was insane.
Oh yeah.
They were slamming them out, man.
Yeah, it's gone up like I think they release 4 times as many sets a year now. Or something like that.
Isn't that what happened with baseball? The junk wax era?
Well, no, because with junk wax, they just printed so many cards. There weren't that many different sets. It was just...
They overprinted those sets.
They overprinted those sets. Yeah.
I see.
This is like unprecedented.
Yeah. So we're flooded with too many sets, which is unprecedented. The market hasn't really experienced that, so it's kind of hard to say where it's going to go.
Yeah. What do you think, Jake? Should they?
Oh, they need to tone it down. They went public with they answered about their policy on the amount of releases that they're doing and the product fatigue that the client or the consumer base is having. Basically, when that concern about that product fatigue was expressed, they basically said, well, hey, I mean, every set isn't for everyone. Just pick and choose the ones you want to buy.
Yeah.
Which is
smart.
Strange,
Well, it's a dumb thing to go to your consumer base and say, well, if you don't like the product, just don't buy it.
Yeah.
I think Wizards...
We're not going to release quality, slow down release, and make sure that we're doing sufficient quality products and not just sprinkling in a couple of chase cards per set, make everyone open products for those, and then, let the independent market just, govern from there.
Now, the way it used to work like 10 years ago was they would release the core set in the summer, which that was like your Magic M13.
Yeah.
Your M10 or whatever, core set. And then they would have their theme set for the story within Magic the Gathering, and they would release 2 big sets and then like 1 auxiliary set after, right?
Yeah. Basically, they would have blocks, which would have, they always kind of changed it up between like just 2 big ones or 2 small ones or 2 big ones and a small one, or even they tried for a little bit like 3 equal sized ones. And that really just linked together the sets by flavor. But from what I understand, when they're going, the flavor is the last thing that they put on it. They'll design cards and just then be like, which world can we fit these mechanics into? And that's kind of how they do a lot of their development. like bottom up.
I feel whereas now it's here's the world. What mechanics can we fit into?
I think for the past few sets, yes, but I think it's only about every 5 years that they do that, and that's for like their big anniversaries. You know, what the 20th was like Battle for Zendikar, 25th was like War of the Spark, and 30th was this March of the Machines.
Yeah.
So I think yes, they will let the sets be story driven on occasion. I don't know how frequently they actually do that.
Well, we'll see. I hope they do tone down the printing. And what's giving me some hope is the serialized cards. You can't print but that amount of cards.
Right.
So we at least know that there is some kind of they're being held to some kind of limit in a way.
Yeah.
In the case of serialized cards, that's correct. But in the case of like any other version of the, 5 different versions of that card or whatever it might be in a given set these days,
I think they missed a huge opportunity with that too. I mean, I love the one ring. That was the exact right thing to do. But with the other rings, I think what would have made a huge difference was because they did the out of 700 or 699 and all that. They should have those variations, but in addition, they should have had out of 3 elven rings, out of 5 dwarven rings, and out of 9 human rings, all in the same style as the one of one. In like each language and everything, and I think that would have drove the value up so high for the one ring. Like there's we're gonna get into the bounty for it later, but I think that would have made the market explode if they had that short of a print for each one.
I'm not sure if it I kind of disagree, only because this is the first time they've done a one of one, right? Mm-hmm. When you have a 1 of 1 and then a 3 of 3 and a 7 of 7 and a 9 of 9, each of those limited edition runs, their sales, in my opinion, will lessen the value of the 1 of 1 in each instance. And if they're trying to make the first $1 million Magic card, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think it drives the price up. I think it drives the price down because the hype is so much less for the 3, 5, 7, and 9.
Yeah, I could see that too. Makes sense.
Yeah, Danny just wants to be one of the cool guys that has one of the rings.
Yeah, that's all.
You can't buy the 1 of 1, but maybe the 1 of 7 or 9.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just want one of the rings.
You see what I'm saying? Like the thought that, because it's, like you said, we'll talk about the current bounty on it.
Yeah, we're gonna get into all that.
Did you pull it up, dude? The one ring?
Yeah, I got it right here. I got the 1 of 1 ring.
Yep. Check it out. Then I put in the chat the other 3.
Yeah, they're all just phenomenally beautiful cards.
Yeah, and the hollow looks pearl.
Yeah, on the the 3 other rings, it has like a mother of pearl kind of effect on it.
Yeah, I think it's just gold on the 1 of 1.
The 1 of 1 I heard is a gold foil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, cool.
These are like pearl foil, apparently.
Still, man, pulling a numbered Magic card has got to be a great feeling.
Yeah, I have yet to experience it, but one day maybe.
Yeah. I'll say this: whenever I pull a dumb numbered sports card, even if it's worthless, I'm like, "Oh, oh, $3.99! I got it!"
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder how they chose. This is what I'm always curious about with Wizards, and I wish I could be a spy and like break in and just hang out for a day, but. How do they choose what art is going to go on the card for those? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, that's got to be a tough choice. I would love to like sit there and hear what they, why they chose that one
I
over.
think
Yeah.
because they talked about it in some video that they released in anticipation of the set, but they worked with the Tolkien estate, like under their art direction pretty much, or at
Oh,
least
that's cool.
yeah.
So they worked with the Tolkien, like
I can't remember the name of the foundation that controls the rights to Middle Earth. It's like Middle Earth something, but yeah, they worked with that business in terms of the art and the panoramas, like all of that stuff. That there was a lot of discourse, it seems.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, because I like how they, like we said when we touched, all the art is just phenomenal. Like it all feels the same in a way. Like it's all familiar with each other, even though it's different artists. And sometimes in Magic, the art is sometimes it's all over the place where characters drawn are this, like they'll have planeswalkers in the backgrounds of cards, but they're not drawn like similarly. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right. You'll have like an illustrated style versus like a realism style,
Right.
and stuff like that. Even now we have more anime style cards and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas this one, it's all like the art is very similar and consistent throughout.
Yeah, and even in the stylistic ones, like it's, like if you look at the different versions of Aragorn the Unifier, like the showcase version is still just as beautiful, even though it's in a different style.
Yeah,
Same with
exactly.
Dark Lord. Yeah, they do have a couple of these like painted, backlit kind of war shots. You also see it in Mary Esquire of Rohan, Gandalf, Friend of the Shire. They just do such a good job.
Yeah, really impressed this time around. I think it's pretty phenomenal, and I do like each card can like fit into the colors that they were made for. Like you can see yourself putting these cards into modern or legendary or commander. You can see yourself using these cards. Whereas sometimes I feel like Magic cards come out and I'm like, what's this for?
Like I keep saying, like, I don't think this set is a modern set. I think it's actually just like you grab a couple of staples and it's a legacy set or a commander set. But I think the ring tempting you is going to be very powerful in legacy. I mean, what do I know? Maybe I'm totally wrong, but it's, yeah, going back, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I kind of said it before, but I think the power level in this set is surprisingly high in the formats where it's going to be relevant. I look forward to seeing what the Magic community at large does with all the new tools they're being given.
So, all right. So with the serialized cards now, and all of this, now let's talk not so much the Magic part, but let's talk the Lord of the Rings part, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you think? All right, so I'll lay it out like this. Over the last, I think it was, they said over the last 10 years, there have been, not counting the shows, there have been 7 or 8 Star Wars movie releases. Whereas before, there would be multiple years in between each Star Wars movie, and there was one movie, right? Now with Lord of the Rings, do you do you think that Lord of the Rings is possibly falling into that oversaturation like Star Wars? Jake.
Not really. I mean, it's not every day that they put out a new Lord of the Rings book, for instance. And yeah, they've just released a Lord of the Rings TV show. But to my knowledge, there's no conversation about releasing any more to create that sort of extended universe that is facilitating Star Wars's multiple releases, because they do wait several years between like main episode releases. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
So it's really, yeah, like over the next few years, there's going to be main episode releases and like this Grand Admiral Thrawn trilogy and stuff in the case of Star Wars. But what are they going to do? Remake the Lord of the Rings? You know?
I hope not.
So until I haven't heard any rumors of that, but until that becomes a thing, I wouldn't necessarily worry about oversaturation. You know,
What do you think, Danny?
Well, I think that, and this is just me drawing conclusions, but I think they were dipping their toes in the water because Star Wars was trying to do the Marvel thing. They were like, oh my God, Marvel is making so much money and they release a movie every year, you know? And now they got series and all this stuff. And they were like, let's do that with Lord of the Rings. But I think that the series was so poorly received that they were like, hold up. Let's not push this any further, which is the right decision. They were like, okay, people really didn't like this, so let's not ruin it further. And then, I mean, of course, Jake, I don't know if you've seen the new Gollum game that came out.
no, I think not.
It's a train wreck, to put it quite simply.
It's bad, dude. It's like,
I mean, I can't imagine it being anything but that.
Right. So think you know the movie The Room, right?
Yeah.
The Gollum is the Lord of the Rings equivalent of The Room. It's so
Superman 64.
Yeah, it's so bad that it's funny.
All right.
yeah, it's like it's like a 2006 platformer for like Xbox.
Okay.
Yeah, and it seems like it was more of a fan game than a official like studio production game.
Yeah, probably. Somebody was like, hey, check out my pet project.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
They were like, perfect. We'll give you, 2 months to make it a game and give you no more resources.
Mm-hmm. And then they want to charge $60 for it. So
I highly recommend that you and whoever and the folks watching, if you haven't done so, look up Donkey's review on YouTube about the Gollum game. It's a good laugh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I don't think Lord of the Rings is gonna be diluted because luckily the people who are actually in charge of Lord of the Rings is like the estate. They're pretty strict on what happens to that media franchise.
Right. Well, and I was telling you, RJ, about this. The ownership is actually Tolkien's son. I think his name's Eric Tolkien. And Jake, you mentioned they don't release like new books all the time. They have a backlog of Tolkien books that J.R.R. Tolkien actually wrote, just never published, and they're in the process of editing, and that's why they're still releasing books and they're still good, is because they're all originally written by J.R.R. Tolkien. So so you still have that quality of content being released, but then they're trying to do their, I think Amazon owned the series, right? Was it Amazon?
Yeah,
they produced it,
right? So I don't think it's I think it's definitely salvageable, and I think that this Wizards crossover is definitely conducive to restoring the perception of Lord of the Rings. As long as they keep doing what they need to do, making good stuff instead of lowest common denominator stuff.
I'll tell you what I'm really excited for.
What's that?
I'm excited for the Star Wars Lorcana set release.
Star Wars
Ha-
Arcana.
I don't know if this is a topic for this podcast, but Lorcana, I mean, that might not necessarily be releasing in August as planned.
That's what I've heard. It's going to be delayed.
Yeah, there is a weird Upper Deck lawsuit.
Yeah.
But yeah, TLDR might delay launch, might not.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
There's a guy on YouTube. He's called the Sports Card Investor, and he had this giant podcast controversy recently where he said that Lorcana is going to be bigger than Pokemon, which is quite the hot take.
Yeah.
This is my skeptical face.
I don't know. I don't know if that's possible.
Happening.
All it takes is one clever like Disney Plus animated series that's akin to Yu-Gi-Oh, where they fucking have Lorcana battles, and then all of a sudden you're in.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. And
there's got to be a guy from Brooklyn who's like, "Hey, yo, Lore, why you gotta play all this can all the time?" Huh?
Well, you would think, but like Pokemon doesn't have that. It could literally be like its own IP, because I don't know if you know the game mechanics, but Lorcana is like you choose a character and the character is like trying to complete its story.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the premise of the game. So that lends itself very easily to any sort of animated adaptation, right? You just like throw your favorite Disney characters in random situations and you have like a fucking what is it? What's that Star Wars show that they have where it's just like random stories by different animation teams?
Oh,
Star Wars Vision.
It was non-canon,
Vision,
like
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they just do something like that, like Disney Lorcana, and that's just what it is.
Like the Animatrix.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's with Disney IP, like it's so easy. There are millions of ideas, and they just need to make one of them and have it stick.
Yeah, and they've got to have a guy who runs a corporation that rules the world, but he's also just obsessed with playing Lorcana for some dumb reason.
Lukey
Right,
boy.
It's what's his name? Roger Iger or whatever.
Yeah, Tiger. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'll get you, Lore. Obviously, the character's name's Lorcana because...
No, he actually serves as like the Pokemon professor in this franchise because it's Disney and they would never portray their CEO as evil.
What was the guy from Yu-Gi-Oh called? Kaiba?
Seto Kaiba.
Yeah, they couldn't make him Kaiba. He'd be more like Professor Oak.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Lorcana, choose your character that you could bring with you.
There's a problem in the underworld. Here, would you like Cinderella, Mickey Mouse, or Donald?
Star Wars Kingdom Hearts. That's all we need right now. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How's Luke gonna survive Mickey's Steamboat Willie?
The brooms are out of control, and we need the Force to put them back in the closet before the wizard comes.
Yeah, Goofy's he was all like, "Use the Force."
Goofy, use the Force.
But yeah,
Dude, there used to be dismemberment in Star Wars, okay? Yes. I don't need Goofy telling Luke to use the Force. I need Luke chopping off legs.
Exactly.
You know?
I feel like there was decapitation in The Mandalorian, right?
I think
yeah.
What in the season 2 when they decided to get a little darker with it? Yeah, I think that happened.
I think in the most recent season, I don't remember season two as much, but in the most recent season with the big guy. I don't want to.
I didn't get to that part.
Yeah, I didn't watch season 3 yet.
Okay.
You've seen the Star Wars Family Guy where Peter's Han, and it's Return of the Jedi, and he's like, I want everybody to start digging graves with their helmets. I'm tired of this kitty fruit crap. And he's like forcing the station workers to like dig their own graves with their helmets. That's just so funny, man.
More like this.
Yeah. It's like, no, I'm sick of this Ewoks and this fruit, this kitty crap. Yeah, well, also, I've heard that the Star Wars games at least remain like Star Wars level violence, where you do like, what's the newest game that came out?
It's the sequel to that.
It's the sequel, yeah. But in that one, there's dismemberment and stuff.
Yeah, the Souls-like Star Wars game. What was it called? The whatever.
Look, in Star Wars, if you tell somebody that you don't like the way they look, you could lose an arm saying something like that.
Listen, I just want to go back to Force Awakens and lift stormtroopers into the air with the Force and spin them around and then throw them into a TIE fighter. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Yeah.
Or Force Unleashed, rather.
Yeah.
So I'm overall, are you excited for it, or are you a little disappointed in the new Lord of the Rings set coming out?
Honestly, I am super excited. We didn't get much into like the flavor of each of the different tribes and what they do and stuff, but I think it's all really cool, really fun, and in some cases really novel approaches to certain color combinations. So I'm looking forward to it.
Danny, are you excited for it? Or?
I'm dying for it. I'm dying. I want to, like you said, I want to make a Gollum deck. I want to play with the mechanics here, and the fact that the numbered cards are there. I mean, I'm no expert on mechanics and all that stuff, but it seems very enjoyable to me.
Yeah, I'm excited. Jay kind of touched on it a little. It's a little. I feel like it's a little underpowered, but it looks fun, which is good, and I like the ring tempting you. That's a cool thing that they've added.
Yeah, I think that's such an overpowered mechanic that people are losing sight of how good the set actually is. That's my take on it.
Well, and we'll see, because Jake Aurelian and I are going to Command Fest Orlando next. I will be there next Saturday. He will be there Friday, Saturday. I'm excited for that. The last one we went to was a ton of fun. I've got some cards I'm going to get signed. I'm going to participate in one sealed event. I'm going to throw down and get in on this Lord of the Rings stuff. So
Dude,
I'm really excited for that.
You know,
they're running collectors sealed events. I'm definitely doing at least one.
How much are those?
They are pretty much the price of half of a collector's box. You get 6 packs and you pretty much pay that, and then the prize support is pretty strong. I think if you go 1 and 2, you can get an additional collector pack from the prize wall.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so potentially you can net positive, but in any case, you're net neutral, plus some prize support. You know what I mean? Because if you were to go and pay for 6 packs, you'd be paying the same amount.
Wow,
exactly,
or more, depending where you're buying them from. So
yeah, I'm excited. I got cards I'm gonna get signed. And it was a lot of fun, and you get the promos and all that. The only thing I wish I was gonna get is that there's one promo. If you get the 1 day pass, that you don't get one of the promos that you get with the 3 day, which is the what is it, the something with Gandalf.
Oh, nice. I'll be enjoying that, I guess.
Yeah. But guys, that is Orlando next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It will be at the one of the convention centers off iDrive. I can't remember exactly where off the top of my head.
It's going to be at the Hyatt Regency Orlando, 9801 International Drive.
I will be there bright and early Saturday so I can meet the professor from Tulare Community College. I've got foil acetate washed card I'm going to try to get him to sign.
Super cool. And we're going to get some signatures from the artists and stuff. It's always cool.
Yep. Guys, again, thank you so much for coming out. Jake, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. Anytime you guys want me on, let me know, and schedule provided, I'll be there.
We'll definitely talk again after the set has been released and things have calmed down. We'll see if the 1 of 1 is pulled by the next episode after it's released. Let's see. The last we didn't get to it, but we should. Let's talk about it real quick before we go. Danny, pull up the 1 of 1 bounty.
The bounty. Here we go.
So, Jake, you touched on, I really wanted to get this over. We're getting close to time, but we can go over a little bit. We touched on it a little before when you said Magic is trying to make the first $1 million card. Why don't you tell us what that's about and tell us about the bounty that's been placed on the 1 of 1 card?
Well, a little bit of a history on the bounty. It started off, I think Post Malone said in passing somewhere, like he'll pay $100,000 for the 1 of 1 ring. Then more recently, Cassius Marsh, the former NFL player, put out like $150,000 bounty. Then it shot up to $500,000, and now there's a card store, I think based out of Chicago. I'm drawing a blank on the name.
It says New York.
New York. All right. Yeah.
Adam and Scott, right? Or
there we go.
Dave and Adams.
Dave and Adams put out a $1 million bounty on the card. So anybody who's lucky enough to pull that from an English collector booster, again, they're only available in the English printing of the collector boosters, or it is only available, not they. There is one.
There's only one.
Yeah, there is only one. Whoever's lucky enough to get it has, should they choose to cash in, a pretty big treasure. Yeah.
So here's the question. Do you, if you pull it, do you go for the $1 million bounty, or do you yourself get the card graded?
I do not get the card graded. What am I going to do apart from delay the sale of the card? You know what I mean? Like, what I think I do is post on Twitter, a picture of the card with the caption, the HH stands for hot hands. And then a follow-up. I understand there's a $1 million bid. Does anyone want to beat it? And then see what happens.
What happens is your house will be flooded with people who found your address.
That's all right. I'll just keep it in the bank.
That's it, man.
I say the first thing that I would do, because I kind of agree with you. I would get the $1 million bounty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You risk too much trying to submit it yourself. You risk too much holding it. You risk too much putting it in the mail through an auction.
Yeah, let's not forget the story of the ring, right? That shit is gonna be cursed. You know it. Get it out of your possession as quickly as possible is the bottom line.
Exactly.
Yeah, genuinely what you want to do is if you pull it, you don't tell anybody. Nobody. You don't tell your family. You don't tell your friends. You very quietly go to a lawyer and you tell a lawyer that you have the card.
Then your lawyer opens what's called a trust.
Exactly.
Now, this trust is where you place the possession of the card. and the trust then contacts a CPA, where the CPA will open up foreign bank accounts for you in non-taxable nations like Panama and the Virgin Islands, and then you go and book a bodyguard to fly with you on a private jet to New York City, where you hand deliver that to them in person without any appointment.
Yep.
Exactly.
Do not call and make an appointment. Because the news will get out, and people will come and find you there.
Exactly.
All right, well, it sounds like we have plans for a week from Monday, boys.
Man, so now there are sports cards, guys, that can do this math. But knowing that there's alternate prints for collector's boxes, with the highest being out of 900, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. There are guys that could do the math and tell you exactly, or a pretty close estimate as to how many cards are actually printed in those collector's boxes.
Oh, no. So they've already put the number out as approximately 3,333,333 collector boxes. All right. I don't know how many come in I think it's 6 or 4 collector boxes per mini crate. I don't know how many mini crates in a crate and everything like that.
No, but how many cards?
Well,
all right, so
this is all relevant to, rounding up to the nearest number of that 3.3 million. But if we don't, 3.3 million times 15.
There are 3.3 million packs, or there are 3.3 million collector's boxes?
Approximately 3,333,333 collector booster packs.
Packs, okay.
Packs. Okay.
Yeah.
Times 15?
It'll have to be a multiple of 12, ultimately.
I don't know how you guys figure this stuff out, man.
Well, because there are 12 packs per box.
All right, so it comes out to be there are only about 49.5 million cards.
Okay.
For just collectors boxes.
Just collectors. Okay.
So you have a 1 out of 49.5 million chance to pull the card.
Wow. That's like buying a lotto ticket.
Exactly what it is. I think the odds are a little better with lotto tickets.
Maybe. Not the Powerball.
The price is definitely better.
Yeah, with lotto tickets, the price is better. Yeah, so that's crazy. I'm excited to see whoever gets it. God bless you. That good for you, for real. What a find.
Whoever finds it, keep it secret, keep it safe.
Amen.
That's the name of the game.
All right, well, that about does it for us. Again, thank you, Aurelian, Jake, for coming out, guys. We really appreciate you coming by, man, and talking Magic and Lord of the Rings with us.
Yeah, it's been super fun, guys. Like I said, schedule provided, I'm happy to be here.
Awesome, man.
All right, guys. So every Sunday we are going to do these shows. It's going to start at 12 p.m. Eastern time here live on our channel on YouTube. Down below in our description is a link to our link tree. Click there and you'll see our eBay, our ComC stores. You'll also see a link to our Instagram. Guys, below is the like button. If you like this show, even if you didn't, just hit that button. It helps us out, help you out, help me out.
If you didn't like the show, let us know in the comments.
Right.
That's cool. Like, honestly, it's a win-win. You get to voice your discontent, and it buffs the algorithm for these two nice guys. So there you go.
Subscribe if you haven't, and then hit the bell to be notified. Also, if you follow us on our Instagram, we're going to do a 2,000 follower giveaway. we are giving away a free blaster box of 2022 Allen and Ginter. And yes, it is a baseball set, but it has more than just baseball cards in it. There are celebrities like Ian Grushka from Newfound Glory and things like that. It's a really cool set. We really enjoy. We hope you guys do too. Follow us on our Instagram. That's all you have to do is just follow. We had a blast. Danny, do you have anything you want to say before we get going?
No, also find us on our eBay store. We got lots of cards from sports to TCGs listed there, and also on ComC. If you don't know what ComC is, check out my cards, comc.com. We also have a store there at SoFlo Cards Collect. Check out everything we got there, guys. We have the best prices. I'm telling you, you got to check it out.
We do. Check them out. Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate it.